And hello, everyone, and welcome back to Cyrus Webb Presents. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. Want to welcome us tuning in on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter. All those, also those who will be seeing us on Instagram as well. We're glad that you all could be with us too. I have a very special guest that's joining us for this next segment. He's someone I've talked to several times on Conversations Live, the radio show. We're glad to have him here on Cyrus Webb Presents today. You know him as a model. He's an actor, producer, just an all-around good guy. At least that's what he paid me to say. I'm talking about the one and only Ty Edwards. We're glad to have him on with
You got to
us to
talk
talk
about
to
that
us
intro,
about.
brother. You got to work on that intro.
Well, I did the best I could with what I had. We're going to talk
Yeah.
about his year that's been 2023, but also the film that's getting a lot of attention and getting him some awards, and that is The Ice Cream Stop. If you guys have not seen it already, it's available now on Tubi. We're going to make sure that it's linked up for you guys joining us on social. We're going to talk about some of the dynamics of that film, what it was like for Ty to be a part of that project, and of course, what he hopes you're able to take away from it. Ty, welcome back to Cyrus Represents, man.
Man, what's going on, Cyrus, man? Beautiful year, brother.
Man, busy year, busy year. So let's talk about that because again, when I was first introduced to Ty Edwards, you of course was making a name for yourself as a celebrated model, doing your thing there. Could you have imagined in 2023 at that point that you would be an actor, producer, and being able to be a part of a project that is winning awards and getting a lot of attention?
Well, I was pretty much doing them both in conjunction, but
Mhm.
when I was slow on one, in one field, I would pretty much compensate in another. But yeah, man, I mean, that was the whole goal. I mean, started out as a model, as you know, and I made the transition, and since then it's just been great, you know. But to actually have something like this, to my credit, is very, very humbling,
Mhm.
and yeah, and it's just motivation for me to just keep on going.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I had a conversation with Travis Cure as he was making his transition from modeling to acting.
Mm.
And both of you, of course, being a part of Tyler Perry projects as well. I thought about this when I was prepping for this segment with you, Ty, because
Hmm.
people get to know you as one thing, right? And we,
Right,
whether we mean to or not, we kind of put you in a box, right?
right.
What has it been like for you to show people that you are more than just what people think of you?
Well, you know what? I think ever since I've been online, I've always established in my social media presence that I had different sides. You
Mhm.
know, I mean, even with my quotes and all the things that I post from time to time, which I got away from because it just got so overwhelmed with social media.
Mhm.
But I've always considered myself to be a very well-rounded person. So I never really put myself in a box. But and people who really know me, they already know that aspect of me.
Mhm.
But for those who probably have seen me through my work, especially the Alonzo character, you know, shout out to Tyler Perry. I mean, amazing opportunity, amazing opportunity. But from that role, the experience wasn't all that great for me as one of the cast members, you know,
Mhm.
because a lot of people believed that I was actually that character in real life. And
Mhm.
I was actually getting confronted. You know, I was getting a lot of crazy emails in my DMs, and you know, and I'm like, wow, either I did a really great job at that character,
Right.
or people have a real issue, especially with this particular topic. You know, because for those of you who haven't seen the episode, I play a character named Alonzo Crawford, and my very first day at work was beating up Maurice, who is an actual gay man on the show Sisters.
Mhm.
And man, during that period, during season one and season two, while everybody was celebrating, going on trips and stuff like here, I was pretty much fighting for my life with this new cancel culture and all this other stuff, you know.
Mhm.
And I was in a very, very deep depression in the midst of the pandemic and the Black Lives Matter. I mean, I was just overwhelmed. So um, when this particular project came across my table, shout out to Raul Perez, the director, and Marcel Baber, who is the creator and the initial writer of this project. I mean, it gave me something else to sink my teeth into and to show the world who didn't know me outside of my social media presence already
Right.
who Tyler Tiger really is. I'm just an actor. I can
Yeah.
get into any type of role. And I
Right.
got away from the antagonistic, villainous, bad boy, you know, big boss type role, and I just played a regular guy.
Mhm.
And I think that's what a lot of people who've seen the movie up until this point. It's like, wow, we didn't expect that from you, but it's been here the whole time. I just never had
Yeah.
an opportunity to play that.
Right. Well, it goes to another point then, Ty, because you mentioned, of course, that role being a part of that Tyler Perry series, but also in the middle of all that, even doing other popular television shows and being able to be among cast members who respected your work. I
Right,
think it goes to a bigger picture, and I agree with you on one thing that you said, and that is it just shows you really did your job, right, as an actor. And I think a lot of times when we think about some of the most quote unquote villainous characters,
right,
I think about other shows, and you think, okay, that actor or that actress is really just they're very good at what they do. I had
right.
a similar conversation with Angela Robinson from The Has and Have Nots, and she said
Hmm.
she got the same thing for her character Veronica. People were very antagonistic toward her, and but which is funny to me because I'm like, hey, you do know this is a show, but it does show though that you guys are just really good at this.
Right,
So
right, and
yeah, go ahead.
and the power of television.
Yes.
People really get involved in these stories, and
Yeah.
especially when the pandemic was around, it wasn't nothing else to do. Everybody was at
Yeah.
home. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So a lot of time was vested in catching up on shows or watching television in general. I don't even watch TV. I'm too busy to
Mm.
watch TV. Only time I even watch TV is if I'm researching for a part. But a lot of people really became TV enthusiasts or film enthusiasts because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
And the subject matter, especially with the LGBTQ community, and as it relates to Tyler Perry, was just at an all-time high at that point, to where that performance just kind of made me a scapegoat to a lot of other things that they were trying to paint a narrative about just from that episode.
Yeah.
Um, I think we talked right after the episode ended. Brian, the actor who plays Maurice, the guy I beat up, he did like a PSA, and he was talking about all the violence and things that they endure being homosexual men, transsexual men, and I was the representation of that. And I have no problem with the message, but I just think that we both should have been there giving that PSA. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? To say that we portray an everyday situation.
Hmm.
This is not who I am. I'm an actor. But it was a one-sided thing, and that what made the backlash that much more powerful. So for 2 seasons, I sat and I watched myself, and then they brought me back where in season 1 I beat him up. Season 2 he beats me up, and then that's how they left it as a hey, good for him. So I was really getting approached in the street by men. This is not this is not about your sexuality. It's not about your gender.
Hmm.
Men threatening and being aggressive, and I'm not supposed to say anything. So that was very, very, for the lack of a better word, refreshing to have that kind of wherewithal to where I have to dumb myself down, even
Hmm.
in a possible situation. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because people just couldn't separate Zoe from Ty.
Right. Exactly. And it goes to though another thing about you, Ty, that I've known. Again, I've known you now for years. We both have kind of
How
watched each
long
other
has
in
this been?
the past. Now our first interview together was 11 years ago.
Okay, yeah, over a
That that
decade.
that yeah, that was our first interview together. And
Man,
so I think the interesting thing though that I've noticed about you though is that you have always worked hard.
right.
I mean, no one can say you're not a hard worker. And I can say
Well,
that from when go ahead.
look, I'm gonna piggyback off you, and you're my
Okay.
motivation. Because trust me, brother, it's times where I'm like, hey, I'm gonna take a break, and then I go on social media, and then one thing about you, you're consistent, and and that's what gets you where you need to be in this business, because
Mhm.
it's hundreds, if not thousands, of people trying to take your spot. Or trying
Yeah.
to take you're fighting for the same position. So
Yeah.
when you actually have a platform, you do with everything. I mean, especially in this day and age where social media is such a big deal,
Hmm.
in our industry. Whereas before, all you had to do was be good as an actor.
Yeah.
All you had to do was look good as a model. You didn't have to have all these references or followers. It was just pretty much predicated on your actual resume.
Right.
Um, Times have changed. So, and again, I've been unfortunate to not have a lot of people to go look for help. You know,
Mm.
I was on my own at 13 years old. I had to figure stuff out early. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm not a trust fund baby. It's nobody home that could help me with this, that, and the third. I got to figure it out. Actually, the pandemic gave me a break. I've been working my entire life. I
Yeah.
needed that. I mean, the grind was so consistent. You know what I'm saying? And in this business, you got peaks and valleys. Sometimes you in those valleys a whole lot longer than you. So I I have I am a very, very well-rounded person when it comes to how to survive and maintain in this industry. And
Yeah.
one thing you have to do is work hard and be consistent if you can. But I think the biggest thing that drives me is the fear of failure.
Mm.
Um, I don't do this for money. I mean, I'm very I'm passionate about the craft because I believe that, and I was thinking about this the other day. I've had such a hard life.
Mm.
When I found the discovery of acting or performing, it allowed me to be someone else other than me.
Mm.
And I need those getaways.
Yeah.
I've been slowly over the years making notations and penning a book on my life and all that I've gone through and everything I've overcome. So the pandemic in itself, it hurt me because I had to be in me form for so long.
Gotcha.
I had to deal with my real life reality, and I couldn't be anybody else for a couple of weeks. You know, so now that the strike is over and all that's behind us now, um, and I was fortunate enough to be able to have something to keep me grounded, keep me sane. Although the content and the storyline of this particular project brought back a lot of painful memories.
Mm.
But it was therapy. It was therapy. I mean, when the project came to me, man, it blew my mind because when I first got the script, I didn't even read it at first because I was in a funk. I was
Gotcha.
literally in the funk. Raul called me and said, "Man, look, I got a project for my cousin. He's not in the industry, but hey, man, we've been trying to get together and do something. I think this is it." I'm like, "Send it over." I mean, I was having a really, really bad day. So it came across and I printed out and I handed it to a friend and she read it and she came back with tears in her eyes. I'm like, what you crying for? So I still didn't grab it and read it at the time, Cyrus. And I had my
Mm.
other partner there, Terrell, handed it to him. And it was a short, I mean, a couple of
Yeah.
pages, and
Mm.
he read it. And he walks back in my office and stands in the doorway and just looks at me. And he was like, "Ty, you got to do this." I was like, "Really?" So I grabbed it. And I go through it and I was like, "Oh my God." And it was almost as if God Himself placed my whole life or part of what I've experienced in my life in Marcel's head.
Wow.
Because I'm like, I know exactly how to do this, you
Mm.
know. And I'm a very, very big person when it comes to not playing yourself. Like, all right. I mean, he's just being himself in this role. That's not really acting.
Right.
Um, but what I mean by playing myself is that I've been in those situations. And one of the things that just pulled me to do it, I knew it was just God, but what pulled me to do it was now I had an opportunity to kind of share my story through the representation of what we all saw nationally when what happened with George.
Mm.
And I'm like, oh my God. You know what I'm saying? I mean, when I saw that, Cyrus, I was so enraged because I've been there, done that, and that could have been me,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So taking on just taking on this project and having the actors, I mean, I already knew coming in who I wanted to play my wife, you know. Um, who I mean, everything just fit. The casting was phenomenal. When I finally met Dustin um, and 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 Paul, I really didn't know exactly what it was he could bring, but I knew, and I told him this. I said, "Hey, man, I just finished a situation to where I was so believable in the role, but people actually was." I said, if it's not that kind of believability, if your own family can't look at you and kind of question, like, is this guy really? We're doing it wrong. And we had several conversations, and when it came nighttime to shoot that, man, he was on. Everybody was on. I mean, when I arrived to set that day, I was already crying. I was already in my head, and I told him, I said, "Listen, all the people, Philando Castro, Mike Brown, Smith Rice, Breonna Taylor," I said, "they don't get a second chance. This is not a rehearsal." I said, "I need every take. We need to go hard in the paint." And man, I'm talking about, it was almost like a baton pass from one place to another, and everybody did their job collectively, and that's why it's such an amazing project.
Yeah. We're going to talk more about that. I want to say hello to you guys on YouTube. Appreciate you guys being with us. If you guys have any questions or comments for Ty, make sure you guys put those in. You guys are watching Cyrus Webb Presents. Hello to you, Antoinette. Antoinette's joining us on Facebook. She says, good afternoon to you as well, Ty. Also, we have Chanel joining us from Wisconsin. She says, good afternoon as well. So I want to talk, for those who don't know about the Ice Cream Stop, that is Ty's newest project. Again, you've seen him playing all kinds of roles. But now, of course, you're able to see him in this really intense film that's available now on Tubi, coming soon to Prime Video on Amazon. You guys know Amazon's my place, but you guys can watch it now on Tubi. This is a really powerful film, and Ty, I have to say, Ty, like I said, we've known each other for a decade. Ty shot me the film last year, and I got a chance to watch it, and it was so powerful to watch. And I said to Ty before we started today's show, I said, it is one of those things that it's not my personal experience. I've never experienced it. So I don't know the dynamics that we read about a lot. I've never had a situation being pulled over by the police and being harassed by the police, even growing up in the South. That's not my story. But Ty, you bring up something really interesting. It is the story of a lot of people.
Right.
And so I want to talk about what that's been like, because the film's gotten a lot of recognition. You've gotten a lot of awards. You've gotten a lot of nominations. What has that been like for you to see not only people appreciate your role in it, but also the message of it?
Well, you know what? Let's just take me out of it, Cyrus. I am truly a vessel just to get it here, just to kind of go back over the journey. Everything that you could actually think that could go wrong went wrong. It was so much death attached to this film while we were shooting it. We weren't supposed to finish it at all. So we had things that was fighting us. I'm talking about the whole way. The goal was to make those words come off that page in a way that it would resonate in everybody, especially if you're black. If you're a black woman, if you're a black man. But let's just say, for instance, you're any other color. Let's say, for instance, you are white and racist. Okay? I said that we are revisiting a conversation that we've been having for a long, long time. And when we talk about it, it's quick to fall on dead ears. I said, but the way that it was written, the way that it was shot, the way that it was performed, we put it in such a way to where it was so digestible, especially in today's society, that when you start to watch it, because when you look at it, it's a love story. Looks like a love story. You see the poster, you got two beautiful, good-looking people on there, at the height of their career. They're both in the medical field. I mean, life is great. We're talking about the nuclear family. She's expecting. I mean, and then out of nowhere, it's like, what, wait. So just that misdirection goes from one emotion to another. And especially if you're a person who have a problem with someone of my skin color, it would make you second guess that, because it's like, it's not about the skin color. I'm a human being.
Mhm.
You just liked me a minute ago,
Mhm.
you know. So for the world to, I mean, I've had people come to me and say, "Look, man, whoa, I've been there." You know, I ask brothers all the time, "Hey, brothers, did I get it right?" They be like, "Bro, that was right on." You know, the relationship component. You know, I've had brothers come to me and was like, "Man, me and my girl was arguing. I wasn't talking to her, and we put the film on, and she came to me, man, crying, and we had some dialogue." You know what I'm saying? Because everything in that film, we dropped so many small nuggets that meant so much, especially with the society now, as far as relationships between black people, you know, the gender wars and all this other stuff. We made it to say, I mean, we had Bill Cosby, we had the Cosbys, the Huxtables in 2022, 2020 form, right there.
Yeah.
Perfect, you know, and it was so relatable and it was so believable, you know, that everybody was like, man, you know, it was about connection. Because as soon as that incident happened, she woke up. You know, the connection was broken. I'm trying not to give away the film, but
Right.
again, everything that we intended to write, covering everything that we covered in the movie, was accomplished. Mission accomplished. And again, you know, I'm at the point of, I'm so happy I made this pivot to more producing. I mean, I had to because of the pandemic and things that, you know, things like that. If I never did anything else theatrical or for TV, I'll be perfectly fine with ending my career with the ice cream style,
Mm.
because
Well, that's what I was going to ask you about, Ty, because a film like this,
Mhm.
I mean, I'm very proud of you.
Yeah,
Very proud
thank you,
of course, the film, but also the accolades that are very, very worthy of the
thank you,
project and the cast.
thank
But
you.
I was curious about that. I mean, did you finish that, especially after getting the buzz and all the attention, the award shows, all of that, and think, how do I follow this up? Has that been a conversation you've had with yourself?
That's what motivates me now as a producer,
Hmm.
because I set the bar so high on my first attempt. I'm like, I can't do anything below this.
Hmm.
And people are coming to me with projects, because before, I mean, I was producing, but I was very quiet about it, you know. And I think I was just like saying, hey, well, people know me as an actor, and they know that I'm good at that. I don't want to put my name on this production thing yet, especially if it flops. You know what I'm saying? I think we all have those thoughts in our head.
Hmm.
But this was one where I just completely took ownership of, because of the material, because of the subject matter, because of my experience, and because I already knew the vision for it, especially how he laid it out. And it was just a matter of us executing.
Right.
Um, Coming out the way that we did, I mean, Image Award nominations, everybody got awards from supporting. I mean, we cleaned up everywhere.
Hmm.
So it's going to be hard, but it gives me something to shoot for. I'm a perfectionist anyway. I try and make a lot of mistakes, but I'm a perfectionist at heart.
Hmm.
And I know as black people, especially black independent filmmakers, we have to be excellent,
Hmm.
you know, because it's harder to get funding, you know. And fortunate enough, you know, I had a lot of resources, or had the resources to do this myself, but that's not going to always be the case. But this is one hell of a project to come out of the gate to showcase the type of product that will come from me and Icon Mass Media. I mean, I'm sorry, an Iconic Film Group, which is my production company.
Yeah. So I have to ask you your as we wrap up here about advice because I'm sure people are coming to you asking
Yeah,
whether it's on modeling, whether it's on acting, whether it's on producing.
right.
Um, what has it been like for you to share the highs and the lows with others and use that as encouragement for them in their own careers?
Well, look, man, you know, I'm a real straight talker. You know, I think what makes me effective in this business is that I am I'm realistic
Hmm.
about what I can do, the roles I can play. This is probably the one role that I would have never got to play from a studio. I had the Vin
Mm,
Diesel. We call this the Vin Diesel. Vin Diesel had to create him a role because they didn't know what to
gotcha.
do with it. You know what I'm saying? But I would say coming to this business, you already know what you're up against. Um, and this is a very, very superficial business. You
Mhm.
know, if you're a model, you have to make sure that you have a certain type of look. Do your research. See if it's somebody that looks like you at the time. And then timing is everything. When I got into the game, didn't nobody look like me. So
Mhm.
I had a certain kind of look, a certain type of swag. I came out when Tyson, Beckford, and Tyrese, Vibe magazine. I'm old, you know what I mean? So coming in right now, and then as far as modeling, it's changed so much because you have social media.
Yeah.
I was doing top stuff, Car Can I mean, you got internet modeling, so it's not the same. It's not the same criteria. It was when I was auditioning for modeling, doing go sees, they were critical. The stuff that they would tell you would break your heart to your face. And
Mhm.
if you didn't have I'm talking about they would just mark on girls, mark on guys. Right now, they got a category that fits everybody right now.
Yeah.
So they got it easy. But when it comes to even with the acting, I mean, the acting is not about performance anymore. If you got a good look, you may, get a break. And if you could somehow stay in front of people and monetize off of it, that's what people are doing now. So a lot of the traditional ways of how I was introduced and the people before me got in, it's long gone. It's long gone. So people have a whole lot easier now to be discovered than we did. We actually
Mhm.
had to put in a lot of work before a person even gave us a chance.
Yeah. So you bring up a really good point. I mean, social media definitely has changed things. It's changed industries. It's changed businesses. But I like something that you said a couple times here in this conversation, Ty, that we haven't really talked about, even off camera, and that is how social media has kind of changed conversations too, right? Because
Mhm.
I think whether we're talking about the ice cream stop, people now having conversations, being able to be a part of that dialogue, but also to be able to make those connections. Also, we couldn't reach people like you.
Right.
When both of us first started, there were gatekeepers there, right? And
Right.
so now you have that. So what has that been like for you to hear from people, to know the impact you're having on them?
It's always great to hear somebody say, I enjoy your work.
Hmm.
I mean, it's not what I do it for, but essentially it's a good driver or indicator of how well you are at your job, you know.
Right.
Um, I don't know. Times have changed so much. Um, I've been approached in the street every now and again, and I have small conversations. I never. I mean, I'm far from the Hollywood "don't talk to me" type. I'm very very approachable, you
Hmm.
know. But I've always been very very appreciative and humble when people recognize me for anything that I've done. If they haven't seen anything that I've done, if they haven't seen me in any photos or anything, if they watch this film, if they remember me from that, I'm grateful because it's not about me. It's about us.
Gotcha.
You know, I did this for the people, and I made
Yeah.
sure that for 3 long years I ate, sleep, and nothing but the ice cream stop until it, came to fruition.
Yeah.
So again, this whole shoot was pretty much legacy. I'm thinking about my legacy. If I don't do
Yeah.
anything else, people will always remember me from this.
Gotcha. So we definitely encourage our audience to go out there and see the ice cream stop. We will be linking it up for you guys who are joining us on the various platforms. You guys can watch it now on Tubi. It is coming to Prime Video, so definitely look out for that. Ty, this has been a great, wide-ranging conversation with you, man. It's great to be able to catch back up. I'm glad you remembered the little people. When you get up there and get to winning on your awards, again to the image. I mean, I appreciate that, man. It makes me.
Man, stop, stop. I, hey, you know what? Let me show you how God is. I didn't
Yeah.
win my first. I didn't get publicly recognized for my first award until 2019. I got my
Mm,
first award. And since 2019, I've been winning ever since.
mm.
Because right after that award show, we shot the ice cream style, and
Right.
then been in the film festival. So
Yeah.
for it was 2 years in that, and I'm like, oh my god! I mean, the telly is right there. I got some other ones over here.
Hmm.
So hey, man, I mean, it finally feels good to see that the fruits of my labor are
Yeah.
being manifested and people appreciate it.
Yeah. Definitely do.
Great
How can you stay
feeling.
connected with you, Ty?
Oh, well, Instagram is official Ty Edwards, and Facebook is the same. Um, Snapchat. I mean, I'm not Snapchat. What's the other one? TikTok
TikTok.
and Twitter. All the same. Keep it simple.
Okay. Well, Ty, man, congratulations to you again. Again, everyone, go out there and watch the Ice Cream Stop. Let Ty know what you think about it. Very
Please leave a comment.
powerful film. I mean, very talented cast, as you heard Ty say. They've been getting a lot of recognition, and rightly so. I'm not a big Tubi person, Ty, but I will be writing my review over there as well. But
Thank
definitely,
you.
I'm looking forward to coming to Prime Video, where I'm big.
Well, whenever it gets there, I've been waiting. I'm like,
And look, and I do want to have you back and do our Amazon live show, so we can actually have you live on, because then we can show the trailer, we can do the whole
hey,
production there. So I would love to have you back on when we're on Prime. Okay.
well, thank you, man. Thank you so much. I'll be looking forward to it, brother. And look, before we leave,
Hmm.
Cyrus, you're one of the hardest black men I knew. You know, we've been doing this quite quite a while, and for over a decade, you've always kept your platform open for me. You've seen me at every stage of my career, and I just want to say thank you. It's people like you that make people like me relevant, and when I can't be who I am and do what I do without people like you, brother. So thank you so much.
I appreciate that, man. And we definitely thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Cyrus Webb Presents. Until next time, I'm Cyrus Webb saying thank you so much for being with us. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.